Honestly, it feels very Geek Fam with Rafaela. It feels like that kind of Geek Fam. MPLID Season 12 Geek Fam.
Yeah.
And we did just see yesterday Ren and Jay pull off the Rafaela and win against Sonic in game number 4, I believe. Yeah, one of the games, but game number 4. So the fact that now that they are banning out the Claw, they are banning out the Minotaur, it may be a Rafaela pick to support the Bruno even more. And heck, they already have a frontliner. They already have another HP bar. And Luke's probably going to get something like a Terizla.
If you didn't get to it, like before, I was actually about to call Rafaela for Team Geek Fam, because I think when you see the premise there and also the Rafa Bruno combo seems so tempting, and after taking both Matilda and Angela out, it makes so much sense to give the Baxia even more heal and even more HP and make him so invincible. No one can actually touch him at a certain point. But Team Geek Fam, what other options do they have? And Team Burmese Gold, after they ban that Dig, I think they will go for more crowd control. Maybe a Tigreal at some point.
Nope, they take it away.
The other way.
Taken away.
You can say no. No.
No.
No.
No.
No implosions. No more. Right? Geek Fam snatches that up.
That's a big ult, though.
It's a big ult, but you know what's scary is like this is getting to that lineup, you know, just the beefy lineup. Getting to that point. You got the Baksha, you got the Tigreal, you got the extra health bars like you mentioned, right? But really, what are they going to cap that out with here? Yasu, what are you thinking?
Add a Terizla on Geek Fam's side, and I am going with them with that draft. Add just like one more crowd control, era crowd control. Terizla seems to be the missing piece for me. But for Team Burmese Ghouls, after banning the Digi, they should be the ones who take some crowd control. Ixia is a good match against Bruno, but...
It's great.
It's been a minute.
Right now, Geek Fam have a tough road up ahead if they want to dive to the back, right? They have the Baksha, the Tigreal. Now they might have to think of something like a Benedetta or maybe even a Yuzong to dive onto that Ixia, because it's going to be real tough if the Ixia doesn't get bullied, doesn't get shut down in the lane.
Oh, this is a lot left up in the air here. The one thing too is, I always say, Ixia, glass cannon, right? You got to be able to utilize that full barrage. A lot of the times, the most aggressive players, you'll see them flicker forward, right? Once they pop that, and really that is great and all. But obviously, you expose yourself, right? You put yourself up to getting taken out. There's the answer. The Yuzhong is going to get picked up here. Another hero, like we mentioned in the previous series, that has kind of fallen off. You haven't seen it picked up so much, but it's still great in certain scenarios, and this is one of them.
Well, in a 1v1 battle, Ixia will win against a Bruno, but it's not a 1v1 game, it's a 5v5. So we will see the Yuzong actually take care of that Ixia, because she doesn't have mobility whatsoever. She have to use her flicker to get her to see her way out. But the thing that I actually really like about Burmese Ghouls draft is that Akai, because Akai can actually go in for this neutral objectives and use his heavy spin just to, I'm not gonna say zone out Marky or Team Geek Fam generally, but to at least apply some crowd control to secure his retribution.
Well, with those in mind, let's get locked and ready to jump in the land of Dawn here. It's the last series of the day. Both teams are looking for their own form of redemption into this game number 1. It's Geek Fam versus Burmese Ghouls. Who will start out on top as they get situated here? And once again, a lot of eyes going to be on Marky. How does he perform here on this utility pick for this first game? It is a Baksha, should work relatively well against a matchup that we've seen so much, right? The Baksha versus the Akai. And this might just come down to the execution factor for both teams leading into those objectives on who can allow their gold laners to shine further here.
I would say for me personally, what the most thing that I am curious about is the positioning of Marky, because he didn't get used to be in the front lanes. He was the one dealing the damage from back there. So Marky here, he is up for a really tough challenge, especially because we are here in the playoffs in the M5 World Championship. Nico is like on the counter. He's playing something that he's so comfortable with, but the only person I would say when you should take care of someone, and that someone for me is Shadow, because Shadow is really farming there.
Nico as well, level 4. Marky's doing a good job at catching up. Seems like Nico has a bit of a lead, but Now I want to ask you guys, right? Burmese Ghouls definitely have an advantage coming into the first turtle, right?
Yeah, for the most part, you know, especially depending on how they utilize the ultimates that they have. One great thing, even as we take a little preview here of these emblems, is the things falling into place, right? There's a whole lot of tenacity, by the way, that is going to be in favor of Burmese Ghouls, how they transfer through this game. A lot of penetration with the ruptures as well, playing into that. Again, looking to get the upper hand on a lot of this. Now, the turtle's going to be up here, and that's what I was going to say. Nico with a heavy spin is always going to be a profitable ultimate, whether it's to secure yourself this, you know, retribution, zone certain people out if you need to. That's one of the biggest things, but already you can see both teams kind of getting in position for this battle.
Beloy going to be initiated on a spatial migration coming down as well. Beloy's 1 HP flickers out. A boy with another realm. Now they're looking forward to kill onto Nico, who pops in a heavy spin, already super low. Beloyski in the back, looking for the implosion. Does get it down, but it's first blood still for the Burmese Ghouls. Marquis with the on-point retribution secures the neutral objective. 1 for 1.
1 for 1, but the same trade that we have been asking about in the last game. Again, I would choose to have that turtle, but look and take notice that Shadow was the one who got the kill, and also, as I told you, if he is free, and also if there's something that I can take into consideration here, is that there's no crowd control enough to hold this Uranus. Not just that, actually Burmese Ghouls, going back to the emblems point, I think that they are using the emblems in their favor to have a tanky approach in the early game, and this will actually help their formation.
Yeah, again, when you look at that fight unfold, right? Things can fall into place for Burmese Ghouls early on, but still a lot of this is going to rely on extending these fights, right, for Geek Fam. And that's why, again, you have this Fairness alongside the Tigreal to help you out with that. But, you know, Lena, his job is probably most of the time to get that Nether Realm himself. But there could also be some unique usage of using an implosion, right? Depending on how they decide to roll with that. Now, biggest issue, anytime you have an Akai on board or for a roster, is positioning. You don't want to actually knock people away in the wrong direction with a heavy spin either. So it's kind of, you know, a mini game in itself, being able to lock down the right targets here. But so far, so good. It's nothing, you know, crazy for either of these teams when you're talking about the lead as we wait up for the next objective here.
We will see that in the XP lane, there's,
Spatial migration into the Requiem. Beloyski going to fall for the second time in this game. Meanwhile, Chidera does some damage back on the Stitch, but we know how this Ixia matchup plays out. Barrage even committed down to poke Chidera even more under the turret, forcing a boy to rotate over towards that gold lane to maybe relieve off some pressure.
he wants to take the full gold of the turret. Stitch is now getting so much gold. But looking at Shadow, he cutted that lane, and now he can go and perform some danger.
Black Dragon form going to be used up. Nico still at full HP now with a heavy spin. Able to zone everybody away, but it's going to be still Nico who wins it out. Another realm onto another realm from both these teams. And it's both teams disengaging. No further follow-up, no further commitments. Chidera and Stitch are rotating over to the mid lane though.
Okay, so equal on the turtles here, but Burmese Ghouls slowly but surely building up a lead, right? That's going to help them in favor. And with that, once again, the fact that Stitch has that early kill will be able to continue to kind of bully that lane a bit. You can even see gold-wise, right, he's very little ahead, but he's playing like he's further ahead. Now, can Geek Fam punish that and get, you know, Stitch behind a little bit here for Chidera? That's what they kind of have to work with. We've seen this work before. But so far, Burmese Ghouls doing a relatively good job on a low-action game so far, you know, 5.5 minutes in.
Geek Fam, on the other hand, I just saw that a boy took the Nichols of Durance, so he can actually be using the anti-heal upon the Shadow and also the rest of the teammates. But I think that when it comes to the gold lane competition or like the matchup there, both of these marksmen need the steel leg pants because both of them are dealing damage just by the basic attacks. And so far I see them that both of them are going for a, I would say, an aggressive approach.
It's funny because this lineup kind of reminds me of, come on, Nico.
Whoa.
That right, Beloyski is right here. Blinkax looking for the rotation. Chidera slide tackles out. Full barrage going to be committed down, but Marky jumps to the back now with the helmet. Another round. It's already a flicker from the side of Beloyski. He wanted to go for the implosion, but it's a good Requiem to keep them at bay. Burmese Ghouls read out a great proactive maneuver.
So that's exactly what I was going to talk about, right? This is like the lineups that's reminiscent of the one we saw just the other day, where it's, all these tanky heroes, these kind of, finicky lineups where you initiate, the fight is extended, everybody's just, slapping each other, and then no one dies, right, for the most part. That's kind of where we are until we get to the later portion of the game.
Oh.
Migration onto Marky, who's still holding on to the Poissons. BlinkX backing up. Shadow doing the same thing. Now pops the Consecration. Looking for another opening into this turtle pit. And it's going to be Nico who's brought back, shoved back, but that's the spatial migration into the Requiem. Nico, with the help of the heavy spin, picks up the Retribution. Marky pinned down to the wall. Beloyski looking for a big implosion, finds 3. The combo comes in as well. They're able to pull it off. A boy 1 HP lead versus the world finds them. And it's an all-out fight that actually Luke wins out in the end. It's a double kill for the Roamer, a double kill for the Geek XP laner. Who won that one?
Oh, Yasu, who won that one? Turtle went to Burmese Ghouls, but there was bodies everywhere.
I think that at this point, I would actually say that Geek Fam are the ones who won that team fight, taking 3 members down, having some of these shutdowns, and Team Geek Fam are just, like right now, I think that Team Geek Fam can actually split bush and use all their heroes, especially the Bruno. And also, there's a really good take here. I think that Luke is so free in his lane, 2-0-1, and also he manages to join that team fight on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, again, when you looked at that team fight kind of unfold, right?
Yeah.
Things just fell into place for the most part on both sides, but ultimately it was an extended team fight because of that interaction between, Lina and, of course, a boy, and how they play around with these nether realms and everything else. And also set up potential-wise, right? It's great. Blink.
Requiem from that spatial migration. A good nether realm. And Beloy finds an implosion. No follow-up, though. It's Beloy pinned down under the turret. And what looked to be a great play from Geek Fam ends up in disaster.
Luke.
Maybe not just yet. Luke diving to the back, a bit too deep. Whoa, what? Luke just dove and died.
Maybe that's not the Yuzhong we know, right? I mean, made a beeline for the back line and ends up getting punished. So right now, Geek Fam has to respond to this momentum that Burmese Ghouls is going to throw at them here in the mid lane.
Full barrage, zoning them away. A boy, respecting the damage, will fall back and give over to tier 1 in the mid lane to Burmese Ghouls.
I think that at some point, Blank is the one who's really doing the final touches for Team Burmese Ghouls, even though at some point I would actually say that Burmese Ghouls, after they took the turtle and also the team fight, they were winning. But again, we have seen these individual movements from Blink and his positioning, but there's a conceal here and they might just go for the team fight and not that Lord.
Uh-oh, Marky's low, half HP. Beloyski finds an implosion, but no one's there to follow it up. The Furious Time, but it's a bit late right now. Is Nico still going to be able to find a heavy spin onto the back? Marky's zoned away. Nico, he has all the right to win the fight. Beloy, on top of it all, how does he get the Lord?
Well, he's Beloy, but at that point, again, was it worth it, that whole exchange here, Yasu?
Well, I'm just caught up in this moment by how did Tigreal actually take it. I didn't see any skills from the Tigreal when he took the Lord, but again, at some point, maybe the rumors forget that they are rumors, and this time it's the time to take some neutral objectives, not just kills.
I don't know, man. Something about that shield and the hammer right there.
Bro, Beloy got it with first, he just popped the hammer down and died. He literally sacrificed himself for the Lord.
Tigreal's had enough. He's like, it's my time to shine.
What the heck?
Oh.
Right? BBB.
Does he have a flicker? Oh.
Big boy Beloy.
Big boy Beloy.
Big boy Beloy.
Beloyski.
That was a play and a half right there, and now they're going to play around with this Lord going down the bottom side. Geek Fam getting in position here. Burmese Ghouls, yes, they're in the lead, but is it even enough? Beloyski using the conceal on the backside.
Oh.
Pops in the Consecration. Beloy with a implosion, but it's going to be cancelled out almost instantaneously by Nico. The Nether Realm grants him another HP bar, but the full barrage takes him out. Luke in the back as well, not able to melt him just as fast, and it's Nico with an amazing cover to save his gold lane and to win out on the fight.
2 times in a row, Luke and Beloyski, both of them go down, even though the engage at some point almost was perfect. But again, Beloyski is being stopped over and over again by Nico. And looking here at the map, at the mini-map itself, I think that even though the goal lead is for Burmese Ghouls, Geek Fam are the ones who are winning when it comes to macro.
Okay, it's interesting how everything's kind of falling into place here, right? Burmese Ghouls, even with the lead they have, Geek Fam somehow pulling things through. Beloyski also, you know, this is one of the things about the Tigreal. You kind of trying to force some of these situations out. Quite tanky himself, but really that's kind of one of the new nuisances, I guess, playing against Tigreal, is the setup potential. Whether he has the flicker available with the implosion or not, he's still just this front line brick. Not only that, but he can also take the Lord when you're not expecting it. Now, I still think, too, going back to it, if you're waiting for this next objective, 30 seconds away here, Geek Fam actually has to utilize the fact that they have this lineup, extend the fight, but not get pushed away. If you notice, too, exactly what we expected from Nico, right? Having the heavy spin, they're trying to force Marky out of this situation. So once again, Conceal going to be used. Do they commit all this? 10 seconds now for the Lord. A lot of action here on the top side of the map.
Shadow's trying to follow Luke in the back. Blink Axe already with a conceal. Luke going to be knocked up by the spatial migration in the realm from a boy. Grants him another HP bar, but he will still lose his life. It's Blink Axe who picks up the kill. The roamer with the most kills in the game for his team.
Well, not having Luke at this specific moment is not actually looking anywhere the word good for Team Geek Fam, because the Lord is up and they will miss that zoning and also that the crowd control coming from the XP lane by Blink.
Okay, he's taking a brunt of the damage.
Yeah.
But he's going to be fine. Shadow now, too, spotting them out.
Onto the back, getting everybody low. The implosion is even bigger. There's no one to follow it up. Beloyski has made big plays, but that's just him alone.
Man, that's tough to see. A great implosion, but no follow-up. Unfortunately for Beloy and Geek Fam, now they're going to have to play the tune of Burmese Ghouls as they take the Lord and get ready to march towards the base of Geek Fam with a great lead of 6K here.
Shadow brought back, Shadow Stampede. Shadow's 1 HP, gets out. Rita pops in the Netherrealm that he stole away from a boy. And the Burmese Ghouls look for a siege.
The next engage is gonna be so intense between both these teams because both of them actually have, Luke!
Flies out.
It's a good looking skin there.
It actually is.
Get that preview.
Yeah.
That is a dope skin.
Can they defend? This Lord's gonna be made quick workup, but Stitch, man. All Stitch has to do is lay down a full barrage and you have Geek Fam running for the hills. So what is the answer? Beloyski should be fine, gets out of there. The base is still going to be worked on, though, for Burmese Ghouls. Again, a 7,000 gold ahead. It's getting dire for Geek Fam. Yasu, what do they have to do? Where's the saving grace for Geek Fam?
I have the answer for you. Geek Fam have to know the potential of their crowd control, their area crowd control heroes, because when it comes to setup for Team Geek Fam, they are much more better than Burmese Ghouls. As much as Stitch needs this area crowd control heroes, he only have Blank X and maybe Nico. But on the other hand, you have Beloyski with the Flicker ultimates. Also, you have Luke to reach the back line and to force that Flicker out of Team Burmese Ghouls. So just buy more time, make good setups, one play, and everything will go really great for Team Geek Fam.
They're looking for more. Black Dragon form onto the back. Blink X uses the Requiem just to disengage. Beloyski's still looking for it. Stitch is going to be rammed down by Luke and Beloy. Furious dive to the back. Stitch is going to be CC'd down, and that's a shutdown picked up by Marky. A boy found Shadow. 2-for-0 to Geek. Spatial migration. Knocking Marky up in another round from a boy. Once again, to help him dive this time around.
Okay, a little bit of a redemption there for Luke as well to find Stitch, put the pressure. They followed up on it. Now they make their way down the mid. They get 2 turrets. Jadeir's damage has to be respected here as well. Still going to be working on it, but Geek Fam bites and fights back.
15 seconds on Stitch. They can actually go for the end. One straight push is what they're looking for. 9 seconds going in. Spatial migration connecting on to 3 members. Requiem as well. Avoiding to be taken low. Still able to back away. Beloyski losing the immortality. Geek fam have to pull out, and they do. All their members low except for Marquis and Luke. That was dangerous, but they took the risk.
If they stayed, man, one full barrage could have possibly annihilated them. Better that they go back. They get the base turn in the mid lane. That's great for the Geek fam. Burmese Ghouls, how do they recoup from here? Itemization-wise, too. Things fall into place for both teams now, and they were just seconds away from this Lord.
I hate to say it, but I told you that it will need one flicker ult from that Tigreal to flip everything around and make Team Geek fam come back to the game and come back to the calculations. We have seen that happen, we have seen that being executed, and now losing the inhibitor turret. And on the other hand, Geek fam, even though they were pressured, they haven't lost any inhibitor turrets so far. So we will see together what will happen for Team Burmese Ghouls. But again, this Lord Dance might take so long because both of these teams are waiting to set up a really good composition.
Okay, half health on the Lord. We'll see if either teams commit to it. Both junglers holding it together. Marquis, though, half health himself. Immortality for Nico, so has a little bit of an upper hand. NetherRealm also will come in clutch here. Geek fam, how they approach it. Shadow,
Stampede. Oh, that's a lot of damage, Naisu.
Beloyski is taking all the way back. Look at Beloyski, what he's doing.
He's looking for the biggest flank of his life is what he's doing. This might be the big brain play. If he finds Stitch, it's going to be over. Has found it, but Nico finds the entry. It's a 2v4 in the back. Luke gets a petrify, and Geek fam now collapse with the help of the NetherRealm. Chidera dealing the damage, and now it's a full barrage from Stitch to turn it around once again. Chidera outplaying for a bit. Lina finds a killing spree despite the big play from Beloy. It's the Burmese Ghouls who take it a long way around. Now knocking Luke up. A complete wipeout for the Burmese Ghouls.
Despite a big brain play from Beloyski, it doesn't matter, says the Burmese Ghouls, as they punish Geek fam in a turn of events, and now with a lead will make their way to the top side. Can Geek fam get back in time?
If it weren't for the wave management, Team Burmese Ghouls actually could have won that game with just taking that team fight, but now everyone will be back in time to make that defense once again. Team Geek fam can actually make this defense work, because not just the damage, but also having the NetherRealm, and not just the NetherRealm, also having these ultimates coming from the Tigreal and the zoning coming from the Yusong.
Well, Lord making its way down the bottom here. Geek fam gonna have to defend their lives out for this one. Nico staying up at the top side, mid-turret gonna be worked on here. Geek fam still, can they stay in the game? Time after time, Beloyski finds these setups, but there just hasn't been a follow-up just yet. So they lose the top turret, the bottom. Burmese Ghouls setting their sights on that mid. If they still put the pressure, they're still respecting the fact that Geek fam has some setup potential and can turn things around, but here they go.
Once again, spatial migration by Blinkax into a full barrage. A good NetherRealm grants him some safety. Marquis in the back line going on a stitch, but it's a NetherRealm as well for the side of Lina. As Luke gets pinned down by the heavy spin. Chidera still able to find Shadow. Chidera free hitting. It's Chidera all the way, now looking for some damage. Blinkax is slow, and Geek fam has turned the tides again in the 19th minute of the game. It's pull and tug, and the Burmese Ghouls are running for the hills. Marquis, shield unity onto Nico with the help of Luke. It's a 2v1 against the Kung Fu Panda. Furious dive with another big dragon tail spin. Nico, super tanky. Luke is just trying to stagger as much as possible, and Nico will finally lose his immortality with one more dragon tail and Furious dive. And the brutality pop. They're looking for the mid lane.
Marquis.
This might be a one straight push from the mid lane as Blinkax is able to find a good Requiem onto 3 members. Lina gets a Terrify back, another round once again. Blinkax will be taken down, explosion and a flicker. Geek fam, they brawled their way into a win. They did not just go for the big brain plays, they went for the big brawl plays.
A turnaround again and again and again on the plays of Beloyski and the rest of the team. Geek fam turns it around, takes game 1.
What the hell was that? What a performance!
That
BBB.
What a weird brawl game!